So the Google Home Mini came out over 3 years ago, but it is still one of the best budget smart assistants. Stay tuned to the end of this video for a special giveaway. So firstly, I want to discuss the design of the Google Home Mini. This thing is incredibly sleek and compact. And on top of that, it's also very minimalistic. So the Google Home Mini comes in 4 different colors. It comes in this coral color. It also comes in an aqua color, and then it comes in gray and white. In terms of the design, it only has one button on the back here for mute, and then it also has a little plug back here, which is how you're able to start using a Google Home Mini. This is not a wireless device. It does have to be plugged into an outlet for you to be able to use it. And then once you do plug it into an outlet, you're going to see 4 different dots light up, and this is how the Google Home Mini knows that you are triggering it, and whatever phrase you are saying, it is actually processing. On top of that, with more of the design, a lot of people were comparing it to different kinds of foods. So I saw someone say that it is very comparable to a donut, really given the size of it, and probably not the weight, but given the size of it, it fits pretty comfortably in the palm of my hand, and it really is just about the size of a nice tasty donut. And someone else did compare it to a French macaron, so they were saying just by how sleek it looks and all the beautiful vibrant colors, it is very similar to a French macaron. Personally, I love the design of the Google Home Mini just because it is very sleek and compact, as I mentioned before, but more than that, it really isn't an eyesore, and it kind of blends into different spaces. But I really think that you can have multiple of these throughout your house, and they wouldn't really look as, tacky as some other smart home assistants do look like. Next, in terms of the sound quality, it is average. So even though this is a smart assistant speaker, its main functionality isn't really to play music. You should know that when you're buying this, you're not going to be getting Bose or Sonos speaker sound quality. What I really think that this has a great functionality for is that if you have any sort of phone and you play music aloud from there and you don't really mind it, then this would probably be something that you would want to use instead of playing music from your phone. So let's say you have like a really tiny house party, or maybe like 5 or 6 people. This would be a good device to play music from. So you can also stream music from Spotify, from your laptop or your phone, and then you can also stream content from Chrome. So I think you're actually able to play YouTube videos, so you can listen to YouTube videos audibly on this speaker, and I'll have an article linked down below of how you're able to do that. It does get pretty loud in my opinion. I usually keep mine at a volume of either maybe 2 or 3, just because I have my Google Home Mini just sitting right next to me, like, maybe 2 feet away from me on my desk. So I don't need it to be too loud, but I do think that it actually does get quite loud, but not loud enough, or doesn't have enough bass or acoustics or whatever else goes into sound quality to actually be considered a really nice, high quality speaker. So next I want to discuss the NLP, or the Google Assistant functionalities. So to actually use your Google Home Mini, you can say, "Okay Google," or "Hey Google," and that's how it gets triggered to be able to know that you are starting to say an utterance. I would say that overall the NLP, it is the same natural language processing that is inside all the other Google Home assistants. So there's not really too much I can say about this, just because I would be more generally talking about Google Assistants, but I would say that it does sometimes have trouble parsing your intent from whatever utterance that you're saying. Google, remind me to work out every single day at 7 a.m.
All right, work out every single day at 7 a.m. When do you want to be reminded?
So with processing, what I wanted to say, it does randomly get triggered. So this is something that I feel like everyone, living in 2020 are all kind of like, okay, the world is surveilling us. Google probably is surveilling us. It is only really supposed to listen for, if you say, "Hey Google," or if you say, "Okay Google," but there are times when I will just be having a random conversation, or I'll even be playing a YouTube video out loud, and it'll randomly get triggered. So if that does make you uncomfortable, really, think about it, if it's worth it to you or not, but what isn't listening to us nowadays? So lastly, the final thing I want to talk about with the Google Assistant is that it is literally Google. So if you haven't seen my Google Home Mini tips and tricks video, I have a link to it in the description box, as well as there's going to be a card on the screen on this side. So this thing is literally Google, and you can use it as such. I feel like a lot of people forget that they have the capability with it, but obviously with other devices and other smart speakers, they don't have all of the functionality and power that comes with Google. So next, I want to talk about some of the IoT integration. You are able to use smart TVs that are running Android TV. If you have a Chromecast, you can use your Google Home Mini with that. You can also buy smart plugs. So these come for about maybe like $12-ish to $20-ish, and you can pretty much just plug in any sort of appliance that you have and then make it smart and use it with your Google Home Mini. In terms of more IoT integration, unfortunately, I've read that it doesn't have as many integrations as the Amazon Alexas do. So the Amazon Echoes have apparently much more integrations than these have. So I just kind of talked very briefly about some of the features that I like, but now I do want to mention just a couple of cons. There are really only a handful of cons that I have for this device, but the first one is the freaking mute button. So when you do have the mute button on, these 4 LED lights are going to glow red. I'm not sure which little sneaky Google employee did this. I'm not sure if they did this on purpose. I feel like they want people to always have the mute button on, so they made it this very annoying glowing red color so that people would always have the mute button off. And then the next con that I want to mention is something that you only have to really go through once, but it is just that the setup is a little bit cumbersome. If you are an Apple stan and you have a ton of Apple products and you're very used to setting up things with Apple products, it is not like this. This has a ton of steps, in my opinion, that, you know, obviously they were useful, but at the time they just felt a little bit cumbersome and clunky, and the setup wasn't my favorite, but guess what? You only have to do it once, so it's not really a big deal. So next I want to discuss who this is for. So I really think this is for everyone, which is something I don't typically say, but I really think that anyone and everyone can get some sort of use out of this. I do think that it is probably best and targeted towards students or college students just because of how small it is and just because of how inexpensive it is. But I do think that this is a product that is very universal and that really anyone can get some sort of use out of. So finally, do I think you should purchase the Google Home Mini? 1000% yes. I think that this is the perfect smart assistant to get introduced to IoT as well as any sort of smart home device. I think that this thing is so reasonably priced and it is really made for anyone. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and I'm going to be giving away a, drumroll please, Google Nest Mini. So of course, if this wasn't obvious, you know, the entire video is around Google Home Minis, but I decided to give away a Google Nest Mini because that is actually just the next generation of the Google Home Mini. So I wanted to give you guys a newer one, but there's only going to be a couple rules for you to be able to win this giveaway. Firstly, you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, and then next you also have to like this video, and then finally you just have to comment, and in that comment please include some way for me to be able to contact you, whether it be your Instagram handle or your email. And you're also welcome to comment as many times as you want, but YouTube does filter out if you comment too many times. It might filter it as spam, so be wary with that. So I'm going to be announcing the giveaway winner 3 weeks from when this video is uploaded, so in the new year. Basically what I'm going to do is pin whatever comment is selected. I'm just going to select randomly. I'm just going to pin it to the video as well as contact that person, so you can check back 3 weeks later or check your email and see if you are the winner. So this is just my way of saying thank you so much for an amazing half a year. I've been doing YouTube consistently pretty much for 6 months straight now, which is a big thing for me, just because I've taken a lot of breaks on YouTube and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and the community that I built on here and being able to talk about technology is just a lot of fun for me. So I hope you guys really enjoy my channel, and I'm going to have tons of new content in the new year. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye guys.